Hello and welcome to Art Time with Anderson. We're going to talk about the color wheel today and how to mix some colors. You'll notice here that I have my layout with red, blue, yellow, my primaries, and this is my 12-step color wheel right here, but it's these circles overlapping to make this lovely little color wheel flower looking thing. Here I've traced it onto regular paper. It's not labeled right now. I'm actually going to go in and label it because that's going to make it a little bit easier. When you're getting your paint, when you're ready to paint here, let's focus that. Notice this is yellow, right? And this is blue. But these two blues, there's actually 3 blues in here. This one seems to be a bit darker. This one seems to be real medium. And this one's almost got like a sky blue feel to it. Let's see how close I can zoom in. Only about there. But this is a little bit more crimson. This is deep red and this is cadmium red. Next to each other, deep red and cadmium red, I can't tell the difference. But I just did want to highlight that there are different primaries. So when we say, oh yeah, you can mix every single color from the primaries. Yeah, sort of. We could mix every single color. So I'm just going to adjust this here. So I've got what I'm painting right here. Okay. So, now, scoot that right like that. So now, when I am painting this, I want to start with my primaries. So I'm going to go ahead and label this red, yellow, blue, green, violet, orange, and then you can label it on the outside or the inside, but this is going to be red violet. It's going to be right there, and red orange. I think this is just so much easier to label them. And yellow green. And this does not have to be perfect. We want to make it nice, but we're not looking for perfection in terms of the final presentation. Your actual final presentation really should have all sorts of little drips and drops and color tests along the side. So just to give you an idea of what I'm saying, we will start by testing some of our reds here. So you don't need a lot of paint. So if I'm testing my reds, I'm just going to put them on the paper, right? I'm going to see what they look like on the paper. And putting them on the white paper right away, I still can't quite see the difference between these two, but right away I can tell that the top one, whoop, there you go, putting paint everywhere. Right away I can tell that the darker one actually is a little bit pinker. So if I come in here and show you, I have this big, beautiful blob of paint now. Let's see if I can focus it. The top one is really a little bit pinker in hue. So coming back here. Okay, so the method that I want to use for this is I kind of want to say to myself, all right, so I'm going to try to choose what I think is a true red. And you're going to want to mix some water in with this. And you take, and you just go ahead and do the entire circle. I know that I have my other red that's got the little bit pinker quality, and I know that the paint isn't quite, because I've mixed it with just a little bit of water here, it's not quite covering 100%. It's not 100% opaque. But I like the coverage that I'm getting right now, sort of like a medium coverage. Like I've covered up the paper, but I've still got a little bit of translucence to it. Getting my brush nice and clean. So that's step one. Now, here's where sort of the creative part comes in. You know, this will dry a little bit, but if I just mix my blues and my yellows right on top, I can kind of get a feel for how they're going to mix together. Now, I know for a fact that my pinker looking red is probably going to be what I'm going to want right here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and paint that in, just because I know that already. Doot, doot, doot. It's going to go towards the violet end, because it's going to mix me a better violet. So I'm just going to, just because I know that, I'm going to mix it in right there. Before I do anything else, I think I'll do my yellow, because yellow is sort of this really nice bright color. Now, I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna get some good color here. I'm really gonna cover that up. And this is a cadmium yellow. I've got a cadmium yellow in my paint palette and a deep yellow. And I'm just gonna go right over the top of that, like that. So now, because it's acrylics, I'm starting to get that mixing. And this is where I can come in and start to go for my orange. I actually think that the deep yellow is gonna help make me a little bit better orange. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna go for this deep yellow right here, because it already is looking orange to me. I think that the other yellow is gonna mix a little bit better with the green. And in this case, I'm not gonna go with the as pinkly colored red. I'm gonna go with the brighter red to make my orange. And that bright red, so if I come in here and just do my little swipe, that is way, 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 way too red orange. So it's like, this is the creative point with it, where I'm starting to think to myself, okay, well, that's way too red orange, that the one that I mixed previously. So I added some yellow, so that's great. But now I want to get a red orange right here, and I want to get a yellow orange over here. Okay, so now maybe I take this color and come over here. And sometimes you gotta wait for them to dry a little bit. So I think I'm gonna let my yellow dry a little bit. And come on over here and paint my blue. This is a little bit lighter blue. So I'm gonna go with the lighter blue to start out with. But I already know this is more, I believe this is a cobalt, and the other one is an ultramarine. Remember, the rules in art are, they're more like guidelines anyways. So I'm gonna come straight in for this more ultramarine blue on my purple side. I have a feeling, to me, that actually looks like it would make a better purple. So I've really covered up. So I almost have two blues on here. But I just happen to know that these are gonna mix better. And even this blue is even a different blue. Got 3 blues out for you guys to use. And this isn't quite green unless I sort of blend it a little. And that's the nature of acrylic, working with the wetness of the paint and then also letting it dry. Okay, so now I'm starting to have my green emerge and work with my blue greens. This over here is going to dry a little bit, and now I'm ready to just sort of start working this in the circle. I don't know if this is quite red orange yet, but it's actually looking pretty good. And then this is going to become green, so now I have to decide what am I going to use here to make green. So I think that the lighter blue and the lighter yellow are gonna make me sort of a nicer green. And let's take a look at that. That's more like a blue-green.